Chosen one. They gave your photo to a devil. Yes, your image, your essence, was handed over to darkness, not to celebrate you, but to curse you. To confuse your path, to distort your face in the realm of spirit, to erase what God placed on you. But something happened they didn't expect. The devil didn't smile. It didn't dance. It didn't laugh. It trembled. Because when your face entered that room, the entire vibration changed. Not because you shouted, not because you threatened, but because you exist as a signal, a living scroll, a divine encryption, a silent mirror reflecting things they fought to hide. You are not just seen, you are known in the spirit, and that's why they fear you. Before you speak, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how people grow nervous around you, even when you say nothing at all? How their tone changes, their posture stiffens, their eyes flicker with guilt. That's not paranoia. That's discernment. They don't see your face, they see what your presence exposes. You didn't need to accuse. You didn't even need to respond, because your stillness is their courtroom, your silence is their echo chamber. Your peace is their collapse. You are the mirror they fear, not because you reflect beauty, but because you reveal truth. They tried to manipulate your energy, tried to bend your light, tried to make you question the very gift that makes you dangerous to darkness. But remember this, you were designed to be unreadable, not because you're hiding, but because heaven encrypted you for this time. Your life carries a watermark of the divine. You walk like a whisper in the spirit, but your footsteps shake every foundation built on lies. And they knew it. That's why they called you too intense, too sensitive, too much. But you were never too much. You were exact, a calibration, a glitch in their illusion. They gave your image to a devil, but it bounced back like a divine mirror, burning every scheme that tried to touch it. Because God didn't just protect you. He marked you. Not with ink, but with frequency. Not with titles, but with truth. Chosen one. You don't need to defend what heaven already declared sacred. You don't need to fight in rooms God has already collapsed. Just stand. Just be. Because you are not just a person. You are a prophetic contradiction. You exist as proof that light cannot be silenced. Your stillness is a scroll. Your presence is a prophecy. And your reflection is their reckoning. Let them run. Let them whisper. Let them pretend they don't see you. But inside, they already know. You are the mirror they can't avoid. The silence they can't manipulate. The presence they can't replace. Now pause. Take a breath. Right now, inhale with authority. Exhale with alignment. And whisper in your spirit. I was the reflection they feared. Because it's true. They feared what you revealed before you ever opened your mouth. You are heaven's glitch. You are the original frequency. You are the signal they cannot decode. Prophetic law. Mirrors don't speak, but they reveal. Activation step. Pause for 10 seconds. Breathe deeply. You don't need to explain clarity. Just embody it. Whisper prompt. Comment 888 if you've ever felt like the quiet in you caused chaos in others. Chosen one, have you noticed it? The moment you grow quiet, they grow louder. They pace, they perform, they project. Because silence, your silence, doesn't calm them. It convicts them. They poke at you, test you, push you to explode. Not to hear your truth, but to trap you in noise. They want you to react so they can say, see, you're the problem. But here's the secret. Your silence isn't passive. It's sacred strategy. Stillness doesn't mean you're afraid. It means you're listening beyond the surface, reading beneath the words, sensing the truth behind the tone. You're not avoiding, you're observing. You're not missing the moment. You're choosing the one that matters. That unsettles them because they're used to people who react, not people who discern. They want to pull you into the pit of performance, but you've already escaped the play. They think noise is power, but you've learned real power whispers. It watches. It waits. It works through alignment, not attention. When you go quiet, the masks slip. When you don't explain yourself, their guilt echoes louder than your words ever could. Your stillness is a mirror, and not everyone can stand to see themselves. In it, let them tremble. Let them talk. Let them call your silence cold, passive, or weak. But heaven calls it refined. You're not holding back because you're scared. You're holding space because you're wise. And that wisdom makes manipulators fidget. It makes accusers second guess because silence speaks in a frequency their tricks can't translate. It says, I see everything, and I don't need to respond to anything. That's what scares them. You're no longer giving free access to your energy. You're no longer rushing to correct every misunderstanding. You're no longer throwing pearls to chaos just to prove you're pure. Chosen one, you have learned the divine law. Stillness doesn't surrender. It selects its moment. And that moment, when you finally do speak, will shatter every lie they built in your absence. Because silence doesn't mean surrender, It means you're preserving your crown. You're letting them burn out their performances. While you rise without needing a stage, you've become untouchable in the spirit. Not because you scream louder, but because you know when not to speak at all. That's spiritual maturity. That's divine mastery. That's power they can't control. So, pause right now. Close your eyes. Feel the noise trying to bait your attention. Now breathe. Inhale peace. Exhale performance. And repeat this in your spirit. My silence is sacred strategy. Because it is. You are not here to fight battles that collapse on their own. You are not here to explain yourself in places that never tried to understand. You are not here to win noisy wars. You are here to govern from stillness. You are the calm before the collapse. You are the pause between what was and what's coming. You are the silence that unmasks systems. So when they provoke you today, pause. Don't reply. Don't defend. Don't dance in their theater. Activation step, don't defend yourself today. Let your silence outlast their noise. Watch what collapses, and when it does, you'll realize you didn't need to say a word. Your presence spoke first. Frequency spoke louder. Your alignment finished what your words never needed to start. This is Signal 02, and Chosen One, you're not silent. You're sovereign. Comment 777. If you feel heaven confirming that your restraint is your roar. Chosen one. You've noticed it, haven't you? The glances, the subtle mimics. The way they start speaking like you, moving like you, wearing what you wear. They don't compliment you, but they copy you. They act like you're invisible, yet adjust themselves every time you shift. It's not admiration. It's monitoring. They don't understand what you carry, so they try to replicate what they can see. But here's the truth. They can copy the words, but not the weight. They can wear the colors, but not reflect the light. They can repeat the gestures, but not transmit the frequency, because you were never made on Earth's blueprint. You are written in heaven's code. Not taught, not trained, not trend-driven. Encoded. You are a divine vibration, not a version. A spiritual signal, not a strategy. They can study your patterns, but they can't access your source. Why? Because you're encrypted. You're guarded by heaven's signature. Signed, sealed, spirit-coded. They try to act like you. But when they enter your space, they glitch, because heaven didn't just give you style. It gave you substance. Your soul hums at a frequency only divine ears can hear. Presence. shifts rooms, reveals masks, activates awakenings. Even in silence, they don't get why people trust you instantly, why strangers feel peace around you, why children and animals are drawn to you. But the truth is, you don't broadcast personality. You emit presence. You are not curated. You are calibrated. And there's no algorithm for that dot, so let them watch. Let them screenshot. Let them study your moves frame dash by dash frame dot. It won't help, because what you carry can't be duplicated dot. It's not from the outer layer. It's from the womb of fire you survived, from the storms you walked through alone, from the midnight's heaven witnessed, from the pain you transmuted into power dot. And no matter how close they get, they'll always miss the code, because it was never in your look. It was always in your light. Chosen one prophetic law. What's divinely sourced cannot be duplicated, only witnessed. And many are witnessing you now, but few can walk where you've walked. Even fewer can carry what you carry. That's why your imitation never lasts, because heaven doesn't mass produce what was handwritten. You weren't downloaded. You were decreed. You weren't created for performance. You were formed for presence. And you don't need to defend your originality. Your frequency already told the truth dot. So today, lay one hand on your heart, close your eyes, silence the noise, and feel it. The code vibrating within you. The legacy pulsing in your bones dot. Now say, this, I'm not a version. I'm a vibration. Say it again dot, slower dot, louder in your soul. Activation step. Don't change to be seen. Stand still and let the real light locate you, because the one sent for you will recognize your frequency, not your performance. They'll feel your essence, not your effort. They'll move with your spirit, not your shadow. And those who study you to manipulate, they'll continue glitching dot, because you can't recreate what was coded by heaven. This is file 03, and your presence is proof. You weren't made to match. You were sent to vibrate. Leave a comment below. 888 on Heaven's Encrypted One. Let the algorithm of light pick it up. Let the watchers feel the code. Let the fakes keep studying, and let your stillness keep speaking. Chosen one. By the time they realized you were gone, you were already 5 blueprints ahead. What they laughed at? You built into legacy dot what they dismissed. You turned into a divine instruction. And what they tried to bury? You resurrected dot silently dot, because what they don't understand, they mock. What they can't track, they label lazy. But you were never still. You were strategic dot. Heaven moves its generals without sound. Angels don't announce their arrival. They just shift the atmosphere. And that's what you did. While they were shouting, you were scrolling through heavens. Assignment. While they were debating, you were already constructing a gate. Chosen one. Your silence wasn't absence. It was activation. They said you disappeared. No. You disengaged. They said you quit. No. You outgrew. They said you changed. No. You evolved beyond the version they felt safe controlling. You don't walk loud. You glide in the spirit. Because you learned early. Noise attracts watchers, but silence invites angels. You understood. Not all attention is divine. Not all praise is pure dot. So instead of staying to explain, you moved with God dot. No announcement. No revenge post. No drama dot. Just progress. Just obedience. Just the quiet sound of legacy being born in dark rooms that they think you vanished. You multiplied. You've been building what they swore you couldn't survive. You've been blueprinting what they mocked you for even dreaming. You've been planting roots while they chase spotlights, because you're not moving on ego's time. You're aligned to heaven's calendar. You don't just change environments, you birth them. Every delay was a recalibration. Every closed door, a redirection. every silence? A strategy, because you know this truth. Prophetic law. Silence is not delay, it's divine positioning. So let them talk, let them assume, let them measure your movement by noise, while you launch entire seasons with a whisper. Because when you move, it's never random. When you shift, it's always divine. When you disappear, you're not retreating, you're realigning. And when you return, you're unrecognizable. Heaven single quotes S1s don't chase stages. They build altars. You're not behind, you're hidden. You're not silent, you're sacred. You're not waiting, you're receiving download. Don't second guess the pace. You're not slow, you're sensed. Don't let them shame you into rushing. There is no applause for sacred preparation, but the silence you carry, it's louder than their noise ever was. They mock your quiet because it reflects their chaos. They call you passive because your peace exposes their panic. They think you're lost because you're not signaling your every step. But the one sent for you will find you through your frequency. So today, activation step. Journal. One idea you've been quietly building. Don't look for validation. Don't wait for claps. Write it down. Bless it in silence. Name it in prayer. And let heaven crown it in the right hour. Because you are a signal, not a spectacle. Your assignment doesn't need announcement. It just needs completion. And every brick you lay in silence is a trumpet in the spirit. They won't see it coming because you've already arrived. Whisper prompt. I left before they even noticed. I stood up. Write it. Speak it. Own it. Comment below. 444. I'm divinely positioned. Let a code be recognized. Let your stillness be your signal. Let your silence build cities. This is code 04, and you are already in motion. Chosen one. Have you ever sat in a room full of sound and felt like the only one awake? They were laughing loud, not performing, not projecting. But something in your spirit whispered this isn't real, because while they acted, you watched while they spoke. You read between breaths while they performed. You perceived. That's your gift. You don't react to faces. You listen to frequency. You don't follow noise. Follow the shifts beneath the silence. They mistook your stillness for confusion, but you were scanning. You were decoding. You were spiritually downloading what heaven didn't allow to be spoken. Because here's the truth. Prophetic law. Discernment doesn't need a microphone. It needs a moment. And you've had many. You've sat in rooms where truth wore a mask, but your soul saw it blink. You've hugged people whose energy screamed danger, even when their mouth said friend. You've smiled in meetings where your spirit said, this is a setup. And you were right. They don't know how many betrayals you spotted without saying a word. They don't know how many exits you planned before they could trap you. They don't know how often you withheld truth. Not out of fear, but out of grace. Because what you carry isn't performance. It's perception. You are a vessel of clarity in rooms built on confusion. They act. You sense. They posture. You scan. They try to control the narrative. But you already downloaded the blueprint. You were never late to the truth. You were just silent long enough to see it clearly. And that chosen one is your divine advantage. While others rush to speak, you pause. While others scramble for spotlight, you observe shadows. You don't force clarity. You wait for alignment. Because you don't need the last word. You already have the deepest knowing. You've made it this far not because you played louder, but because you discerned deeper. And yes, they think you're too quiet. They mistake your calm for blindness. They think if you didn't expose them, you must have missed it. But heaven knows. You saw everything. You perceived the lie wrapped in kindness. You felt the shift when their loyalty cracked. You watched them applaud you in public and betray you in private. And still, you didn't explode. You elevated. Because when you truly see, you don't clap back, you climb out. And that's why you're still standing, because discernment kept. You where noise would have destroyed you. Whisper prompt. I decode rooms in silence. You were never asleep. You were scanning soul signatures. Were never cold. You were calibrating your spirit to the truth. They perform. You perceive. Because you are built. Not to impress crowds, but to read currents. You are the mirror in the room, not showing what they want to see, but what's really their dot. And yes, that's why they fear you. That's why they talk louder when you enter. That's why they throw shade, hoping you'll question your sight, but don't. Activation step. Today observe more than you speak. The room before you answer. Notice the pause before the smile. Let energy speak. What words will never dare. Your clarity is your currency. Your discernment is your sword. Your stillness is the storm they didn't prepare for. So take a breath. Chosen one. You are not too much. You're just too accurate for their performance to survive. You don't need to expose anyone. They reveal themselves. In your presence. This is file 05. Already know the truth. Now, walk like you read it. Comment below. 555. I see what they pretend to hide. Let the watchers watch. Let the liars perform. Let the storm pass. You just perceive. Chosen one. They called you cold. They whispered behind closed doors. She doesn't care. He's numb. They don't feel. But what they didn't know is the war you've walked through. They couldn't see the smoke still clinging to your soul. They didn't smell the ashes you rose from. They never heard the sound of your heart breaking at midnight, while you kept smiling at dawn. Your calm wasn't born from comfort, it was forged in chaos, it wasn't always this quiet inside of you. There was a time your soul screamed just to be heard. A time your thoughts raced louder than traffic. A time the storm wasn't around you. It was inside you. But now you walk through storms like it's silence. Not because you're disconnected, but because you're deeply rooted. Prophetic law. Peace after fire is not numbness. It's spiritual graduation. You didn't become calm by avoiding. Battle. You became calm because the battle didn't kill you. You stayed, you prayed, you broke, you bled, but you stayed. Faithful. Can now. What once would have triggered a collapse only activates your clarity. That's why they don't understand you. They mistake your stillness for shutdown. They think your silence means surrender, but they're wrong. You're not numb. You're healed. You're not disconnected. You're anointed. You don't panic when the wind rises anymore, because you are the storm's calm center. You carry hurricanes in your history, but now heaven lives in your posture, and that terrifies them. Whisper prompt. Peace is the proof I carry the storm. They expect you to react like before. To lash out, to cry out, to spiral. But instead, you just breathe. You don't chase anymore. You choose. You don't fight noise with noise. You disarm it with stillness. Because now you know that not every battle deserves your roar. Some deserve your absence. Some deserve your peaceful walk away. Activation step. Light a candle today. Let the flame remind you. You survived what was sent to break you. You are not the same person who started this journey. You're calmer, stronger, clearer, and softer in all the right places. That's what divine fire does. It doesn't just burn away enemies. It burns away illusions. And what remains is you, unshakable, undeniable, unapologetic. They say you're too calm, but they didn't see you on the floor at 3 a.m. weeping into a pillow, praying for clarity, asking heaven, why me? They didn't see you carry the weight of people who left. They didn't watch you hold the line when no one stood with you. They didn't hear the silence after betrayal or the roar of your thoughts trying to make sense of it all. But God did. He saw. He stayed. He refined Dot. And now, this piece you carry? It's not a performance, Dot. It's a marking, Dot. It's the evidence of graduation. Signal 06 received. You have entered a season where your silence will say more than sermons. Your peace will convict more than protests. Your stillness will collapse what noise cannot maintain. Because when heaven crowns a soul with calm, hell gets confused. It expected retaliation. It got rest. It expected breakdown. It met breakthrough. So now they whisper again. She's acting like nothing happened. He moved on like it was easy. But here's the truth. You didn't act like nothing happened. You just stopped letting it own your nervous system. You didn't forget. You just forgave yourself first. You didn't pretend to be okay, You became okay, because peace is the product of private survival. You earned it in the furnace. No one applauded. You cultivated it in the garden. No one visited, And now you walk through storms like they're a memory. Because that's all they are now. Memories. You are not broken. You are not bitter. You are reborn in stillness. And that chosen one is your spiritual weapon. Your calm is prophetic. It speaks to atmospheres. It disturbs demons. It realigns angels. So let them call you too calm. That's fine. Let them wonder. Because one thing is for sure. You didn't become peace. You brought it. And now, everywhere you step carries the echo of storms that tried and failed to stop you. Leave your mark in silence. Leave your comment in truth. 777. My peace is my power. If this reminded you who you really are. Chosen one, they tried to. Study you like a formula. Break you into patterns. Decode your reactions. Predict your next move. But what they didn't know is that you were never part of the blueprint. You are not the code. You are the glitch in their code. The variable heaven encrypted into this realm. To collapse false systems from within. You are not made to fit. You were born to fracture. Prophetic law. What disrupts their system is proof of heaven's override. From the moment you entered the room, they felt it. Not your loudness, not your performance, but your frequency. You don't scream to get attention. You radiate. You penetrate. You unravel facades just by existing. That's why they're uncomfortable. That's why they scramble to define you, to contain you, to dismiss you. Because if they can't name you, they can't claim you. But guess what? You weren't made to be claimed. You weren't assigned to conform to broken traditions or mimic programmed behavior or nod along to silent agreements. You came to interrupt the loop. You came to crack the mask. You came to expose what's been hidden behind scripted kindness and weaponized silence and institutional gaslighting. They call you too intense, too much, too sensitive. But what they really mean is, you're uncontainable. Whisper prompt. I am not what they designed. I'm what they didn't prepare for. They thought you'd fold, that you'd comply, that you'd keep your head down and play your part. But you looked at the script and set it on fire, because your soul didn't come to recite lines. It came to write new ones. You are not from their design. You are heaven's disruption, coded in stillness, activated in chaos, assigned to light flames in places built on shadows. That's why nothing felt right for so long. Why jobs drained you. Why fake friendships confused you. Why small talk suffocated you. Why groupthink repelled you. It wasn't because you were broken. It was because your spirit kept colliding with systems that were. You were placed in the matrix, but not to get stuck in it. You were sent in like a virus of light to overwrite what's corrupted. And now the program is GLITCHING. Their masks are slipping. Their patterns are backfiring. Their control no longer works on you. You're not hypnotized anymore. You're awake. You're not bitter. You're blazing. You're not chaotic. You're clearing space. And yes, they'll mock you, mislabel you, even try to weaponize your uniqueness, but none of it will stick, because this time, you know who you are. Activation step. Repeat silently. I am the signal. I am the disruption. I am aligned. Then walk like it. You don't need validation. You carry vibration. You don't need permission. You carry prophecy. You don't need stage lights. You are the light that cracks ceilings. So when people pull back from you, don't chase. When rooms eject you, don't beg. When systems reject your blueprint, rejoice. Because that's your signal that your frequency is still doing its job, that you're still heaven's anomaly, that you're still the glitch they didn't account for. Code 07 confirmed. You are not made to operate in fear. You were not born to walk in compliance. You are not here to adjust to dysfunction. You are here to shake the grid and realign it to truth. So keep moving, not louder, but clearer. Not faster, but deeper. Your presence is the prophecy. Your existence is the exposure. Your frequency is the flame. Let them glitch. Let them stutter. Let them panic at your peace, because you didn't break their system. Your truth did. Type 999 in the comments if you know you were never meant to blend in, but to break patterns and build portals. Say it out loud if it resonates. I am the Yah. Divine disruption. I am the frequency that cannot be decoded. I am the glitch that God assigned. And now, go walk like the code breaker you are.